Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Horror Trans. I am Stephanie Bree. I am a transgender woman, and I talk about all things horror. And today we're doing the Wes Craven film from 1972. This is Last House on the Left. So before I talk about the movie and give the plot synopsis and the play-by-play, I have to give a content warning. This movie has graphic sexual assault. So if that bothers you, don't even watch the rest of this video. You already know to stay away from this movie. If that doesn't bother you, or if you think you can handle it, let's continue. So the movie this is a early 1970s horror movie. So don't expect the tropes you're used to. Don't expect the the level of gore you're used to. This is early 70s. So let's get that out of the way. It basically is about two young country girls, teenagers, who are going into the city to view a rock concert. And on their way into the city, they get a hankering for some marijuana. And so they grab a street thug, we'll say, riffraff, and ask him if they can buy some drugs off him. And he's like, yeah, sure, come on upstairs. It turns out that the apartment he takes the girls into is the apartment being run by three escaped serial killers. They lock the door on the girls, so they kidnap them. And right off the bat, the first sexual assault happens. Right off the bat, it's a rape, if you want to get down to it. And the very next day, we see them taking the girls down to the car and loading them into the trunk of the car. They're not dead. They're just taking them alive into the woods to torture them. Once they get them out into the woods, they do some more naughty stuff to them, we'll say. After they're done torturing the girls and raping them and whatnot, they kill them. Pretty cut and dry. Well, here's what makes this movie interesting. The serial killers, it's two guys or two men, a woman, and the son, the teenage son. Go across the street and they find this farmhouse because it's late at night, and they invite themselves into the farmhouse. It's country people, so they have country hospitality. They bring them in, they feed them supper, they let them sleep in their girl's bedroom because, like, hey, she's in the city, she's out for the night, so they let them sleep in her bedroom. And somehow the killers find out the girl's bed that they're sleeping in is the girl they just murdered, and the parents figure out that their girl was murdered, and these are the guys that did it. And so what happens is we have a struggle where the parents are now confronting the serial killers and trying to survive the night. Basically trying to not escape the killers. They're trying to get revenge. So that's where we go with this movie. What's odd about this movie? There's two things I want to point out that make this movie odd. Odd thing number one, it was written and directed by Wes Craven, but it was produced by Sean S. Cunningham, who you'll know as the creator of Friday the 13th. So these two men got their start working together on a horror movie together, which is interesting because they would both go on to create rival franchises, Freddy and Jason respectively. So that's the weird thing number one. Weird thing number two, even though it's a horror movie, it's got this weird kind of hillbilly, like, I'm going to say circus music. This weird hillbilly circus music playing throughout, which does not match the tone at all. And then off to the side, you have these two bumbling country cops that are dumbasses who are looking for the missing girls, and they can't fucking they can't do shit other than, I mean, they're bumbling idiots. They're comic relief. The cops in this movie are comic relief, and that's weird because this is at a time when horror movies still had comic relief. Because, they really don't do that anymore. This is a good movie. Despite its intricacies, what am I trying to say? Idiosyncrasies? I don't know. What's the word? The things that make it quirky, I'll say. It's still a fun fucking movie. It is pretty dark. It's not tremendously scary, but I'm not going to lie. I thought it was scary the first time I watched it. Even though it doesn't have scary music setting the mood, the mood music kind of contradicts the mood in a way, which is jarring. It works. And I think the reason it works is because you're seeing a dark movie, and this movie is sort of playing the dark side and the light side simultaneously, which kind of makes you uncomfortable. And that's what you want in a horror movie. You kind of want to be uncomfortable. There is one moment in the movie I'm going to go ahead and spoil. When they're torturing the girls, they make one of them piss their pants, and they show her pissing her pants. So that might be a turnoff to some people. That might be too much for some people. I thought that was pretty fucked up when I watched this movie. I thought it was shocking. This movie is definitely a buy. This is one you want in your collection. But it's not one you want to watch too often because, one, you don't want to be desensitized, and two, it's weird as fuck. This is the 70s. This is before The Exorcist. This is before Texas Chainsaw Massacre. So horror hadn't really found its voice yet. They're still kind of figuring things out. But I think it's worth a watch.